Hey there, it's Richie and Alex with Stellarpinball, and this is our video version of the King Kong Biplane Attack mod instructions. So we'll start with what's in the box first. You have your motion control unit, biplane strut, opto cover plate, wire form mount, motion control unit wiring harness is here, and this is the power cable. You have 3 zip ties, a bag of shims, and there's a 1.5 millimeter hex key included. We're shown over here with the tools. So the other tools that you will need, number 1 Phillips screwdriver. You need a 5/16 wrench, 11 32nd nut driver, and a pair of flush cups. Okay, so to prepare for the next couple of steps, we've removed the balls from the machine and raised the playfield. You're going to want to locate your node board that's on the front inside left of the machine. So we're looking specifically for CN11, which is this plug right here. So I've got our power cable, and I've got this end. We're going to plug that right into CN11. Now, it is really easy to miss by 1 pin like that. So you want to be sure that you're aligned onto those pins just like that. Okay, then we're going to take the cable and just tuck it in these wire holders, and we'll just right down here. Okay. Now we'll lower the playfield and bring it all the way forward onto the rubber bumpers so that we can access the back. So with the playfield forward, we can now access this last wire holder. So I'm going to just insert the wire in there. And at the end of our power cable is voltage regulator housing. I'm going to take 2 wire ties and insert them through the slot. Like that. Get the other one here. And we're going to attach the voltage regulator to this wire bundle. So I will just loop this around. Okay. That's just to keep the voltage regulator housing in a nice location. Now we'll take our flush cuts and just trim off the excess. Now with a 5/16 wrench, we're going to pull our airplane off the wire form. Now we'll take our Phillips screwdriver and remove these 2 screws from the biplane. Now we're going to use these in just a moment, so set those aside. Okay. Now, locate the mount, and it orients just like this. We'll use those same 2 screws to attach it. And just want to snug it up. Don't tighten it too tight. Might blow the threads out of the airplane. Okay. Now locate your strut. You notice it has a black cap on one end. That cap indicates the end that should be inserted into the airplane mount. So let's first loosen the screw a little bit so we can get the strut in. I'm going to take that cap off, and the Z will orient to the top of plane, and this orientation it would be down, but that's how you want to orient it. You also want to make sure that it slid all the way in to that little hard stop right there. And then we'll tighten up this fastener. And again on this, you don't want to get crazy with the torque, just nice and snug. And there you are. Okay, so now we need the wiring harness. We're going to start with the end that's got the 3 conductor plug on it. We're going to fish this through right next to this hex post right here. And then I'm going to grab it like this and kind of pull it over a little bit. And then I'm going to pull it to about here. And that can be adjusted later. Okay, now we're going to take our wireform wire mount. And I like to put the cable tie in first. It's a little easier, like so. And we're going to bring it over to this wireform. And I'm going to snap it on here right in between these two, right behind the mount that the biplane used to be on. That will just snap in place like that. And I can take the wire that we just fished through there and loop my cable tie around. And this will just secure the cable so it doesn't move around. Okay, now I'll trim that off. Okay. Now we can plug our power cable into the wire harness, like so. Now we're going to locate the yellow wire that has the T-splice on it from the wiring harness. That will connect to yellow wire here on the game's opto sensor that's on the biplane Rev. So we'll open up the T-splice. I'm going to locate that right on yellow wire like this and get it in, and then you close it real tight. That should snap closed. Now you can use your fingers to do that. If you want to be sure that it's really set, optionally you can use a pair of needle nose just to squeeze that and make sure it's completely down. Should look like this when it's finished. All right, locate your motion control unit. We can plug the 3-conductor cable into the side like so. And we're going to remove this clamp plate with our Phillips screwdriver. Okay. Now, motion control unit slides right onto the wireform like that. You're going to make sure that it's slid all the way forward like this. Then I'll bring the clamp plate back over. Get these screws started. Now before I tighten it, I can make sure that it's pushed all the way against the radius on that wire form. Then I'm going to snug these up, and again, you don't want to get too crazy with the torque on this. We want to make sure they're just snug. Okay. And now locate your hex wrench and just a couple of turns to loosen that screw so we can get the strut in. That goes in like so, and this also has a hard stop feature. So we want to make sure that strut goes all the way into that hard stop. And then just snug that fastener up. That's good. The next step is we're going to check the clearance of the biplane over certain features on the game. So first of all, we want to make sure the landing gear of the airplane isn't contacting the ramp. So if I just carefully and gently turn this hub on the motion control unit, I can see that we have clearance here. The next place that we want to check is right over this wire form on this radius right here. And we have plenty of clearance there, so that's good. Now we want to check over the banana pot. We've got about 10 or so millimeters there, so that's good. Now, the next step will be checking clearance on the glass. Okay, now I'm going to bring the glass up about this far. And I'm going to slowly rotate the airplane and just look at the clearance between the wing and the glass. Looks like we have plenty. So if you have clearance issues between the airplane and the glass or anything else, we have a troubleshooting guide in the instructions. It will show you how to use these shims to create a little more space between the link tip and the glass. Most installations won't require that. Okay, now we're going to put this cover over the opto board, make it look a little nicer. So it goes on with this opening toward the bottom. So I'm just going to snap it on one side, and then it'll just pop on like that. Okay, now we're going to do a couple of tests to make sure it's functioning properly. So we've got the power on the gain. The coin door is open at the moment. So as soon as I close the coin door, it will power up the node board, which will power up the mod. The first thing you'll see is a homing sequence. So turn around twice and then it will stop at home.
Eddie, check the main cell.
Now, if I want to test my opto to make sure that it's actually triggering the biplane, I can just stick my finger and cover that opto switch right, or that opto sensor right there. Okay, this switch on the side will allow you to select two different modes on this mod. One is sequential and one is random. So I've got it on the sequential position, which means for the first ball up the ramp, it will rotate once. For the second ball, twice. Third ball, 3 times. Now, that works great when you're playing by yourself. If you're playing multiplayer, it gets a little confusing. On multiplayer, you could put it on random so that every time you shoot that ramp, it will choose a rotation between 1 and 3 randomly. In order to select a different mode change, you do have cycle power on the node board, which means you just open and close the coin door. Yeah, I can demonstrate that for you. Okay. Now it's going to be in random mode after it homes. So I'll trigger the opto. We'll see what it selects randomly. 3 rotations. Okay, your installation is now complete. You can put your glass back in, and we hope that you really enjoy this mod. Thank you.